Hey guys, so this is me walking through my final project, which is kind of two different websites. I wanted to create a portfolio site for my photography stuff, and I wanted to experiment with using this platform called IndExhibit, which was developed by two artists, Daniel Etok and Jeffrey Vasca. And they designed it to be one, super flexible in order for artists to kind of set up the display that they want, but also really kind of powerful in the back end as well as being streamlined. It's a little bit of a kind of an industry standard for a lot of people. It's getting a little bit phased out as more and more different, hosting sites and platforms are coming into use. But it's still pretty popular, and I thought this would be a really good opportunity to play around with it. So this is their main site, and you can kind of see this is built on IndExhibit too, so you can get an idea how it works. You have your what they call the indexes over here with different categories, and then this is more of the exhibit side where you would put, in this case, text, but mostly images and video and etc. So what's neat about this platform is that in order to get set up, you download and log in, and you actually go in through the back end of your web host. So here I'm on GoDaddy, of course, and you set it up as an SQL database, sort of like we did in this last week. So let me scroll down here. It's a little bit of a hassle to set up at first, I discovered, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. So here's my database and everything. And then you also go in and you install their software into the PHP, and here I have it open for you already. Here's my final project site and all of the good stuff that they've built out for you ahead of time. So we'll get to the actual site here in a second, but I'll show you first the other part of what I wanted to do, which was a kind of a dynamic splash page for the site, or a landing page that you have to go through in order to get to the main portfolio. So in scooting around and exploring on CodeDrops, I found this CSS grid layout slideshow format, which I thought was really neat, and I enjoyed how visual it was. I thought it would be a good way to kind of introduce a lot of images, but it also is super flexible, and I can kind of plug in images and text from different projects within this kind of single format. So, of course, all the stuff is here, and I built it out, and if this will load, you can see what it looks like. So this is an idea of kind of how customizable it is. They give you all the CSS files, and you can go in and change the size of the images, the color, the text, all the different background and layout stuff, the movement of the slides, and here I'll show you kind of what it looks like in practice. So that goes from one project to the other. Really smooth, really clean, but also kind of funky and interesting, which is what I like about it. And in this case, I just used it for 3 projects that are on the rest of the portfolio site. But of course, you can add as many as you wanted and really build it out. I thought this was a good exercise to kind of proof of concept it for you guys. So this is the splash page, and you can see I have a link to our home page, and I have links down here to each individual projects. But I'm going to go up here to the portfolio, so you can see sort of the main idea. And if we compare it back to the sort of the foundational IndExhibit is the the left bar and then the kind of display over here. I went into the CSS and played with it a little bit to get this sort of more horizontal layout. So this is the home page. It's real clean. It's real simple. Here are the different projects I have listed. So for example, we'll go to how about the misdirection one that you just saw on the splash page. And this is really super customizable, so I kind of like it a little bit funky looking with the sort of text going over the images as you scroll. But it really has a lot of possibility for big, high-res images. You could add text here if you wanted to. I don't usually use it a whole lot, but it definitely has a place for that. So yeah, it's really super easy to get up and running and customize once you have it sort of set up. And what's neat about this is that it has, instead of going through like maybe the HTML to set everything up. They've built out a whole back-end platform, kind of similar to the WordPress that we have installed on one of our pages. So this is, you get an idea of kind of the under the hood of the end exhibit. So you create the different what they call exhibits. So we'll go back to misdirection here. You can rearrange them and kind of scoot them around, and this impacts where they appear on the list. Just drag and drop, real simple. You can go in, and instead of playing so much with the code, which you can do, they give you the option to really get nuts and bolts with it. It's real simple to sort of, upload images. They have plugins that you can install to add YouTube videos, to add Vimeo videos. You could add a whole lot of text here. It's customizable in terms of the formatting. They have different options for slideshow or thumbnails or different image sizes, text before or after the images, etc., etc. Yeah, so I think this was a good experiment in learning how to use this platform and really understanding it more than I probably would have been able to now that we have some experience with this class.